Shalom, Kahalayimla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to my apostles, a great millstone who taught me this truth. And Shalom to the 144,000 and the elect. I'm Zaim, and this is another video entitled The Nations Know the So-Called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true Hebrew Israelites. Lord will, you're edified.
The Hebrews were black as well, right?
Yeah, there was in Islam, there was just the people, the black people like me, and the Hebrews. That's it.
And that the Bani Israel line, majority dark-skinned. Sayyidina Solomon alayhi salam, dark-skinned. Queen Bilqis of Sheba, dark-skinned. Ethiopian, Eritrea, his entire regions. Sayyidina Musa salam, very dark-skinned, not even Middle Eastern dark. So this was the lineage of Bani Israel. So anyone claiming that they're from Bani Israel, that must be their lineage.
Yes, and the lineage, the race of people, the color of these people will be like Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, they would look like so-called Negroes. Let's get that in Revelation. Revelation 1. And let's go to 14. This is what it means by dark-skinned people, by the Israelites or dark-skinned. His head and his hairs were like wool. Speaking about the Son of Man, which is Yahweh Shai, the Son of Yahweh, his head and his hairs were like wool. He was a dark-skinned man with woolly hair, and it was gray, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. Now let's look and see what a dark-skinned Messiah would look like versus a pale leprous, so-called J to the E to the us, which is Caesar Borgia. This depiction to the left is supposedly a darker Yahweh Shai, and the image to the right, which is a leprous image of J to the E to the sus, which is actually Caesar Borgia. Now let's go to this picture and his Revelation 1 and 15, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. And this is brass up here. This small little cup is brass, the color of brass. This is fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace. To the left, those pale leprous ashy ankles, no. To the right, those dark feet is what it should look like, what brass, fine brass burned in a furnace should look like. Let's get another image. Let's try this one. Brass. To the picture, to the cup on the left, brass, and burnt brass on the right is even darker. Hebrew Israelite. Revelation 1 and 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. This man right here on the screen to the right is what a depiction of what Yahweh and Yahweh Shai would look like. Job 30 and 30. My skin is black. Lamentations 5 and 10. our skin was black like an oven. And it says, why were Joseph, Moses, and Paul mistaken for Egyptians? Because the Egyptians were people of color too. What made I don't like saying that word. What made Yahushai's family think that they could go to Egypt and blend in? Isaiah 28:10. Precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And that is how we get understanding of this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding, this scriptures, the Holy Bible. Now let's go back to Revelation 1:14 and read it in the NLT. His head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like flames of fire. His feet, and when it says his hair and his head were white like wool, meaning the texture of his hair was woolly, as we saw in the picture. This picture here. His hairs are woolly and white like snow. And his eyes were like a flame of fire. His feet were like polished brass. Salakia were like his feet were 1:15 NLT. His feet were like polished bronze, refined in a furnace. And let's see that again. This is brass to the left, which is a darker brown, which is a lighter brown, but it's still kind of dark. But then you have the burnt brass, which is a darker brown. Let's see if we can go back to the, and this is his feet. This is fine brass as if it burned in a furnace. Now let's go back. His feet were like polished bronze, refined in a furnace, and his voice thundered like mighty ocean waves. Let's go back to the video.
So we don't see that lineage. So that's questionable to what tribe they belong.
Understanding that your ancestors came from Israel.
See, he said he doesn't see that lineage because those who are in the Israel now, the 1948ers, the small hatters, are not the true Jews of that land and not the true Jews of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Let's get that. Revelation 2:9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty. He's talking about the Israelites. He knows thy works, the works that we have done in slavery, the works that we have done in slavery and up till this day, and the tribulation which we suffer till this day, and poverty, because the blacks, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, most of them are living in poverty till this day. But thou art rich. Rich in what? This knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding. Rich in the kingdom. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, which are the Ashkenazi ones in Israel, the 1948ers, the small hats now, which say they are Jews. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie, which are the fake ones that are in Israel now, the 1948ers, the small hats. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet. This will be in the kingdom, and to know that I have loved thee. Let's go back to the video.
Israel, which is in northern Africa, they now have.
That's questionable to what tribe they belong.
Understanding that your ancestors came from Israel, which is in northern Africa, they now have traveled down after the second temple to West Africa, got picked up by slave ships, and now we're finding out that those are our ancestors. But there is a movement going on called the Hebrew Awakening. That dark-skinned people that continuously go back into dark skin will hold the genes of a Hebrew.
No, the genes of the Hebrew are passed down through the pedigree and lineage of the male. And let's get that. In Numbers 1:18. Numbers 1:18 KJV. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. Let's look at that word pedigree. Pedigree. Yalad, that Esau said.
Strong's H3205. Yalad. Yalad.
Yalad. Outline of biblical usage: to bear, bring forth, beget, gender, travail, to bear, bring forth, of childbirth, to be born, to beget, to declare one's birth, pedigree. Strong's definitions: to act as a midwife, specifically to show lineage, bring up, child, come, be delivered, time to deliver, gender, hatch, declare pedigrees, to be the son of. So the pedigree, the lineage is passed through by the sons, male to male. Let's go back into the video.
Brothers and sisters,
Hebrew, and ancient Egyptian. These are our ancestral lands of Canaan that you people are fighting over.
There is true Hebrews. There's a true people of the Most High that is scattered throughout the nations of the earth this day. It is not.
And the Most High name is Yahweh. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai. And yes, we were scattered because we transgressed the laws of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And we can get that. Well, we can get that. As he said, we were scattered. Let's see. Break it down. Bear with me. Oh, shit. Hold on. Salaki for that. Yes, and he said he will scatter us among the nations for our transgressions against Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Leviticus 26 and 33. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you. His sword is the Esau Edom, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Deuteronomy 4 and 27. And the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai shall scatter you among the nations, these other nations and heathens, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai shall lead you. Nehemiah 1 and 8. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if we transgress, break the laws of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, this is what he'll do. I will scatter you abroad among the nations. Let's go back into the video.
Whom that many people believe they are, such as the so-called Jews in the nation-state of Israel that we so see before us right now. I would interject that the true biblical Hebrews are the so-called African-American people that are scattered abroad throughout the world. Now, I will show you through a mass amount of evidence.
And it's not just the black people, it's the so-called blacks, which are from the southern tribes, which are Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, as well as the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. And Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai said that his heritage is as a speckled bird. Let's get that. Jeremiah 12 and 9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird, meaning you will have Israelites of all different colors. Just because a person looks white doesn't mean they're an Edomite. They could be an Israelite. And just because a person looks dark doesn't mean they're an Israelite. They could be an Edomite. Because you have the wheats and the tares. Let's get that real quick. Matthew 13 and 27. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. And we're going to go to the breakdown of the wheat and the tares. It says, the tares explain. Matthew 13 and 36. Then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. Yahushua answered and said unto them, He that soweth good seed is the Son of Man, which is Yahushua. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, which are the blacks, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. The wicked ones are Esau, Edom. the Edomites. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. Which means the wicked shall be burned with ICBM nuclear missiles in World War III. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire, which is the ICBM nuclear missiles in World War III. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father Yahweh. The righteous are the ones who have this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding. Who have ears to hear, let him hear. Back into the video.
All throughout the world. Now, I will show you through a mass amount of evidence that I'll put up on the screen right here, verses below, and you can do your due diligence and research these things out to see if they be so. It is very important that you understand who the true Hebrews are, because that end-time prophecy, lots of it, surround these individuals. I am a Gentile. I know exactly who I am, but it seems to be the one group of people in the world that have been, by the rest of the world, tried to be dumbed down to the fact or completely erase their history from history, is the African American people, so-called, that are scattered throughout the nations. Now, please understand that not every single black person is a true Hebrew.
Right.
But it is those that are under the curse of Deuteronomy 28. And you'll be able to tell by the time that I'm done giving you this information, this video, who the true Hebrews are. And you may be one of them. So let's begin. In the early pictures that you would see depicted in worship places, churches, and things of this nature, as you can see right here in this image right here, and others that I'll continue to put up, that Messiah was depicted as a black person, an African American person. And this is totally different to what we see as Roman Catholicism was further introduced and spread abroad throughout the world. We always see a white Caucasian Messiah being depicted. And I want to reiterate throughout this that I'm not being racist. I love every single person in humanity. It's very important we know who the true Hebrews are. And anyway, as time progressed, though, these paintings and the depictions went from the black African American features to a more Caucasian white feature. And this wasn't done overnight. This was a slow sifting process as to what we have today. Now, in every church house and on their walls, we see a white Messiah. And this could not be further from the truth. Now that we know we're Israelites.
Shalom.